Copying Josh, copying Josh, copying Josh. Looking at Scott. Show me your shirt. Yes. It's on camera, and I'm keeping it.
Excellent.
That's going to be the intro. Hey everybody, welcome to Origins Game Fair 2019. Round one of the Dropfleet Commander Tournament, 500 points, playing a mission called Secure the Anchorage. We have 3 stations, 2 small, located inside a planetary ring, 1 medium, scores as a medium cluster and a critical location. The other 2 score as, I forgot the mission, just critical locations, if I'm not mistaken.
What, the stations?
Yeah, the small
I
ones.
thought they were small.
Already so much confusion. Anyways, we're going to start at 500 points here. We've got 8 players in the tournament.
They're just small clusters, not critical.
They are just small clusters and not criticals. The other is a medium cluster and a critical.
Yep.
All right, good thing we can remember that. I'm glad I wrote that mission. All right, we're not going to bother with Army list. It's 500 points. You'll see it as we go, and we're going to get started for round 1. All right, that's round 1 wrapped up. Basic deployment. My 2 Orpheus are shooting up the board here. My Echoes are there. My Jasons are almost at the midline. He has a strike carrier fleet with some Toulon escorts moving up here, all in low orbit with, they max thrust?
Yes.
Okay. And then we have a San Francisco and a pair of Madrid moving up here with Jakarta, I presume? Yep. And escort. And that is it. We're going to come back after 2. Okay, so we've got turn 2 wrapped up. So over here, he had his Toulons and his Jakarta. They were going up against my 2 Jasons. The Jasons popcorned essentially the entire fleet, leaving 1 Toulon and the Jakarta left, and one of my Jasons crippled. The Toulon activated, managed to finish off my crippled Jason, and then at the combined fire of the Madrids and the San Francisco, they managed to clear out that battle group. My Echoes max thrust over the planetary ring and are now behind his fleet, while my Orpheus have come up here. They have deployed into these 2 stations, while his San Francisco has deployed 6 soldiers into that station. We'll be back after turn 3. Turn 3 wrapped up, so my Jasons are gone. My Echoes came back here and popped the Jakarta, protecting his San Francisco. My 2 Orpheus managed to unload their broadsides and point defense, our close action weapons, to overwhelm one of the Madrids. So we have a lonely Toulon, a San Francisco, and a Madrid versus my 2 Orpheus and 3 Echoes. Going into our first scoring turn, I have firm control of the small cluster here, the small station cluster here. And we are tied in control here, but he is currently winning the critical location with ship mass. So we will be back after 4. All right, so we wrapped up turn 4, but we're down to 10 minutes in time, so we're just going ahead and call our game at this point. I controlled this cluster, giving me 2 points. I contested here, giving me 3. He controlled that cluster and the critical location, giving him 5 points, so that makes it a 3-5 win for Mike. Woo! Winning on round 1. Neither of us cleared the 300-point kill point threshold to get any bonus tournament points, so it goes to 8 points for Michael in the tournament, 2 points for me. That's going to wrap round 1, and we'll be back after we reset for round 2. Hey, Commanders, welcome to round 2. We're playing Establishing the Beachhead. We have raised scoring, so I will score every sector I destroy here. I get 1 victory point. Eric, every sector he destroys, he gets a victory point. These score are standard medium clusters. We're playing 1,000 point PHR versus PHR because we're both losers.
Does your Admiral have to be on the table or in the deck for you to draw?
He has to be on the table for you to draw cards. All right, so we're going to get started here for round 2 at Origins. We'll be back after the first turn. It was a blazingly fast turn 1 as we brought our 2 battle groups on. I max thrust my Agamemnon and my Ganymede straight up the board towards his backboard cluster. He brought on a couple of Medea to go land troops there. He also brought on his Bellerophon and another pair of Medea heading towards the mid-board. Back after 2. Okay, so we've got turn 2 all wrapped up. My Agamemnon hung a Louis and put a little fire onto that Orion, doing 3 damage. The Bellerophon has launched a squadron of 4 bombers on me. My Ganymede here has dropped troops on the surface. My second Ganymede has come on board. My Echoes have raced up the board to meet his Medeas that loaded up their military sector full of tanks. So we're going into turn 3, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so we've come to the close of turn 3. So my Agamemnon thrust forward here, weapons freed, put a ton of damage on the back Orion, a ton of damage on the Bellerophon, which is no longer here, and some damage on this Orpheus troop ship. So after that, my Echoes raced up, and they finished off the Bellerophon, but the blast crippled most of the Echo force. So I lost 3 of the Echoes of the 6 to the Bellerophon explosion. The Orpheus moved up between close action and light batteries, took out 2 more, so I'm down to a single Echo. The Medeas came up and moved forward. They're closing on the Jasons. My other Ganymede back here has dropped on our home cluster. This Ganymede has taken complete control of the middle cluster. They both put fire onto that Ganymede over there. Did I ever shoot with that Ganymede?
You did, I say.
Okay, thank you. The Agamemnon is in shreds. The Pandoras are out, so we'll see what turn 4 brings, but it'll be our first scoring turn. No one has gotten anywhere close to raising anything, but everything is on the board. So we will be back after 4. Okay, so we've closed up turn 4. My Admiral's dead. His Admiral's dead. So many ships are dead everywhere. My Jasons are still hanging out back here. He's got a couple of Medea holding out my back sector, or my back cluster. I've moved over to contest his other cluster here. His fleet's moving up on me over there. Right now, scoring-wise, I am up 12 points to 7 points going into turn 5. We've wrapped up turn 5. I did remove one of his Orions from the board with the combined firepower of my Jasons. I am down to 2 Ganymedes. This one is in pretty sorry shape, taking fire from his Ajax and his Ganymede priors. Or not his Ganymede, his Orions. His Pandoras whiffed pretty hard, which worked for me. His Medeas did creep down back here and put a little bombardment fire on my commercial sector to try to knock out my defense battery, which then shot down a dropship it tried to send into the area for contesting. So we're going into turn 6, final turn. We'll see what happens. All right, the game is over. So while my army was devastated, or my fleet was devastated into ruination, I did win the game with 25 to 15. Was that final?
Yes.
By controlling my back home cluster here and then managing to take both of these out here. So kill point wise though, I managed to only kill about 473, I think you said?
Something like that.
And Eric managed to wipe out 860 points of my 1,000-point fleet. So he got a 3-point tournament point swing on that, taking him to 5 tournament points. I got 2 for my kills, bringing me to 10. So we're going to move on to round 3 here, and that's going to be the big game. So we'll see how that turns out. Okay, so we just jumped in and got right started. I even missed recording the beginning of this, but we're playing our 3rd mission in the tournament. Secured a battlefront, 4 large clusters, and a large space station in the middle. In order to score any of these, you have to have ships in orbit and troops on the ground to get them. So we are straight at it. Both of us have dreadnoughts on the table. Mine came on, put a burn through into his battleship, cut 7 damage out of it. His dreadnought replied and almost carved my dreadnought in half, doing 18 damage with its triple burn through laser. I have deployed a ton of troops, but it's not going to mean much if I don't have any ships left to keep the orbit. So we'll be back after 2. After a long and grueling turn 2, we are done with it, and there is so much stuff that's dead. There is a dead Scourge. Is it a dragon? Your battleship?
Yep, dragon.
Dead dragon, some dead Nakar, but I've got a bunch of dead Corvettes and a dead Jason. My battleship is down to 2 hull left. My dreadnought is down to, got a roll, I need 4s. It's 2 back. My dreadnought is down to 6 hull. Your dreadnought is down to how much?
I am at 15, so I'm at 9.
9 hull. Did I cripple you a second time?
15. No, 16 cripples. I'm at
Okay.
11.
I have troops all across the mid and the back. He has troops in the back and in the station. So at this moment, moving into turn 3, it's a fight. We have concluded turn 3. You may notice the board is looking very vacant. That is because an extinction level event happened when my dreadnought plummeted through orbit after absorbing the remainder of the Scourge fleet's fire and nearly wiped out this entire cluster back here. Fortunately, I put some troops on the ground and recovered. The space station I've taken control of. However, I have no ships in orbit to claim it, which means they actually have control of it right now. Back here, his dreadnought is dead, but when it went, it blew up quite a bit of stuff and crippled and damaged several other ships in the area.
No, it's just resting.
Just resting?
Just resting.
It went back to sleep. So that is really the highlights of turn 3. We're going into our first scoring turn. We'll probably wrap the game due to time in this turn, but we'll find out. So what happened is his one cruiser moved back away from the space station to contest or to control both this location and the space station. My space station's laser opened up, cutting a hole in them, and double reactor overloads on the ship on the critical table blew it up, removing his ability to score. That left us in a 5-5 tie with the locations that we were able to hold, making the game a draw. Our kill points were both over 1,100, meaning we both earned 10 tournament points in the final round of the tournament. Thanks for coming. Woo. Hope you enjoyed the format.
I did, actually.
All right,
Thank you.
good. I'm glad it went a little faster. I was telling Scott I felt like I wasn't like fatigued at round 3 for a change. So let's get the most important prize out of the way.
The spoon.
Worst place with 13 points in the tournament goes to Eric. Your wooden spoon, sir.
Soup it up.
Let's see. Best painted. Some people apparently thought that was Josh Shivak.
I don't think that's right.
That's what
I didn't
that
have a
votes.
recount.
So that gets you a $15 credit at the booth. Best sporting was Scott.
All right.
That gave you a $30 credit at the booth.
Woo. Thanks for the liquor. Makes me happy.
Third place with an overall 23 points, $20 booth credit goes to Greg.
Whoa! Oh!
Very nice.
Second place with 23 points as well, and a additional $35 booth credit goes to Josh. Woo. Woo. And number 1 gets a $50 booth credit. Oh shit! Third place. Where are you, Greg?
Yeah, thank you, thank
Your
you.
bronze Toulon.
There you go.
Josh, your silver, whatever UCM ship this is. Rio, I think. No, it's Osaka. First place, Golden Moscow, $50 booth credit. Championship mug and a $50 Mats by Mars gift certificate with 28 total points goes to Brian.
Nice.
There you are, sir. Congratulations.
Yes.
Did I give you fleet or I gave you fleet? Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Vendor hall closes at 6. I have your sheets. You'll need to take these to Don so he knows your credit amounts.
Cool. Thank you for running this, Gary.
Thanks.
It was my pleasure. Josh, here's your sheet.